everybody, this is Chef Jason of Native Chef LLC, and today's video is all about wild rice. And wild rice is so important to Native Americans and Native American cultures and our ancestors. And I'm just so fortunate and thankful to have the opportunity to share some of my favorite recipes on how to use wild rice. There's many different ways, and I'm going to share a few with you today. A little bit of background on wild rice is it's actually not a rice, it's a grain, which many of you know, and Native Americans used it for a lot of years to have food over the winter and to, harvest for their families, and it's just very important to our culture. And I'm just very honored and thankful to have the opportunity to share my knowledge and my skills with you guys, and I hope you like it. I hope you learned something from today's lesson, and I look forward to presenting many more. Hello everybody, and welcome again to my kitchen here. So today we're going to be doing some recipes with wild rice, and the great thing about wild rice is a little bit goes a long ways. So if you have a cup of wild rice, it'll actually yield about 4 cups of cooked rice. And today I'm going to show you different ways to use it. First, we're going to use one in a hot dish, and then I'm going to show you some other options you can use. I actually love it cold. I like it in the cold salads. So today we're going to go over the basics of how to cook rice, how to fluff it when it's done, season it, and how to cool it. That's most important, is how to cool it for let's say a colder salad. So let's get to cooking. Okay, so the first step we want to do is we want to wash this rice 3 times, okay? And that kind of gets rid of any debris or any rocks that might be in there, or anything else in the rice that we want to cook. So I'm going to add this to a 2-quart saucepan, and we're just simply going to rinse and kind of scrape around with our hand, drain, and we'll do this 3 times. Okay, we're going to add 4 cups of water per cup of rice. We want to bring this to a boil, a full rolling boil. So the rice is at a full boil here, and it took about 10 minutes to get there. So now what we want to do is we want to put the cover on, and we're going to turn it down to low. And we're going to let it cook for about 45 minutes. So now we're going to cut up the red onion for the wild rice pilaf. And the first thing you want to do is you want to peel it, obviously, and then rinse it and drain it pretty well. And that's what I've done here. So now what I want to do is I want to cut it in half. I'm not going to need this whole onion. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to reserve this piece here. This is good to use a utility knife or a paring knife. What I want to do is I want to cut in, not all the way through to the bottom, but I want to leave the end intact. But I want to cut in every 1/8 of an inch on this onion. About 1/8 of an inch wide. So I cut all those little lines there. You can see where I cut, and it's still intact at the end. And then I just cross chop this way finely, and then this will get us our really fine dice with onion. Next up is our celery. So I have 1 center cut celery stalk here. I've rinsed it and drained it really well. And again, we want fine dice, so this one's pretty easy. What I do is I don't cut all the way again through the end. I kind of leave about 1/4 inch on the top, and then I just slice through, and I make these strips. Okay, make these strips just like that. So as you can see, it's still connected at the bottom. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our strips, and I'm just going to cross cut this way And we'll get these little fine dice pieces. Okay, so this first dish we're going to do is just a basic wild rice pilaf. And so the rice is about done. So what we want to do is we want to cook it for about 45 minutes covered. But then you also want to let it rest. You want to let it rest. It's behind me. It's almost done. Probably about 10 minutes after the 45 minutes is up, turn it off and let it steep. It's better to have some liquid left in it than to have it scorch on the bottom. That's the worst you could do, is actually ruin rice and scorch it. It has a really bad flavor. So we're going to check it right now. So here's the rice here, and we've let it steep, like I said, for about 10 minutes. And there's a little bit of liquid left, and that's okay. You can drain some of it if you want. If you put it on a sheet pan to let it cool, it's actually going to soak up most of that water. But like I said, it's better to have some liquid left over than to have it scorch. And so whenever I'm doing a hot dish, there's a reason why I cut up stuff fine, and I say fine dice in my recipes, is because we're not actually going to saute or cook these vegetables, these celery and onion, red onion. They're cut so fine that the steam from the rice will kind of cook it really good and finish it. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add this rice. I'm going to add 1 spoon. Fluffing it is basically kind of just separating it. When it says fluff the rice, that means just kind of toss it around and make sure that it's all separated. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bowl here. Okay. I'm going to take this bowl here. I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of rice. Okay. All right. I'll set this back here. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add my celery and onion to this. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of salt. Not too much. And again, what I want to show you is how to use this rice a bunch of different ways, and it actually yields a lot. So we're going to add our red onion. We're going to add our fine dice celery. Okay, we're going to add our cranberries. Okay, going to add those. And now all we simply do is just toss the steamed cooked wild rice with all this. Now, like I said, if you cut the vegetables small enough, you know, I like my vegetables still with a bite. So if I'm having celery and onion, I don't like it mushy. I don't like vegetables mushy at all. I like them to still have a bite and still be crisp, but yet, and also what's happening is the steam from that wild rice is kind of blanching it and making it a better color. Like the color of the celery will kind of come out a little bit more. So we have our celery, red onion, salt and pepper, and now we're just going to dish it up. And we'll be done with this one. Just a basic wild rice pilaf. And if you wanted to do a garnish, that'd be nice. If you had some scallions or something, like green onions chopped, that would be really nice as well. But a basic pilaf, really simple, really easy to make. You can cut the veggies up while the rice is cooking. And nice looking rice. Okay, so the rice is cooked already, and so it's still really warm. And so what you can do is fluff it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to a big bowl like this, and I just kind of, I've already added the salt and pepper to this, and fluffing it means, you know, again, just kind of breaking it apart like this. Breaking it apart, making sure that they're all separated. The best way to cool this, especially if you're using a cold salad, is to put it on a sheet pan. And the reason is the thinner the layer it's in, the quicker it's going to cool. So we'll just put this in a big thin layer like this, and it won't take long at all to cool. We don't want to overcook it. Some people like mushier rice versus maybe rice with a bite. It depends on who it is, but this is the way I like my rice. I like my rice. I don't like a bite at all to it. I like it more cooked. And this is the best way to cool it right here. Just let it sit at room temperature, and then you can cover it with a piece of saran wrap and put it in the fridge. Okay, this next recipe I want to share with you is called a maple bacon wild rice salad. Okay, it has turkey bacon in it, wild rice, celery, red onion, red bell pepper, and maple syrup. And it's really good. It's a really, really nice cold side dish. It's one of my favorites, and we'll go ahead and start cutting that up. I'll show you how to cut up some of it, and we'll get to cooking. Okay, we're gonna fine dice this apple here, and it's a Granny Smith apple. I like the colors, I like green. And get slices until I get almost to the middle, and then I'll stop. Same way with this way. Get these fine slices, and then we're gonna dice them. Now what I wanna do is I wanna stack these into the same way that I cut them. Cross cut this way. And every time I cut down, I'm holding the apple down so it doesn't come up with my knife. Just like that. And then we'll just cross cut this way. So I'll cut the other way about 1/8 of an inch, and then we're cutting about 1/8 of an inch this way so we get fine dice. So our apple is diced here, and what's important when you're handling diced apple is they'll oxidize. And so what I have here, I have a 1/4 mixture of apple cider vinegar and 3 parts water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak these in here, and then that'll help prevent the oxidation. And when I'm ready to use them, I'll drain them really good at that time. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cross chop my turkey bacon. Didn't take too long to cook. Okay, so I'm just going to cut these into strips. Okay, so everything's cut up here. So because we're using diced apple, this might be one of those salads that you don't really want to store overnight. You want to be able to cut dice this apple, let it soak, and then use it right away and try to eat it the best you can. It's going to turn a little bit brown, even though we soaked it in our apple cider vinegar mixture with water. So I have that draining really well right here. Okay, and then the turkey bacon. I saved a little bit of turkey bacon for a garnish right here. So everything's cut up here. I got the red onion, the celery, red bell pepper, the maple syrup, and the wild rice, the most important of it. So what I want to do is just go ahead and add it all to this bowl here. Again, it's nice to have a good mixing bowl. Okay. Add all this together. I'm not going to add any salt. Now that's up to you. That usually I put on my recipes optional. So that could be an optional ingredient. And then most people, they actually add salt at the table anyways. So I just usually leave it out and let them add it if they want it. And I added a little bit to the rice, but we definitely want to taste the maple syrup in this. So that was 2 slices of turkey bacon, and really, this is one of my favorite ones. Okay, so we'll put this in our dish. It's all about colors. Okay. And then, like I said, I saved a few apple strips just in case you can't see them. We want people to see the stuff in here, so we'll just use these as a garnish right on top. Just like that. Pretty easy, just takes a little bit of knife skills, and really delicious salad. Really, really good one for cold wild rice. Okay, so we'll do another recipe here. So I love wild rice for breakfast. I like to make omelets for breakfast, and that's what we're gonna do. The biggest thing with an omelet is visual, right? So I showed you the pans in the kitchen essential equipment where you have a 12-inch, a 10-inch, and an 8-inch pan. A 2-egg omelet you could actually make in an 8-inch pan. It's going to be smaller. Okay, you can make one in a 10-inch pan. You can also make one in a 12-inch pan. And what people do is when they see food, they immediately judge whether it's good by eating with their eyes, but they also judge whether it's going to be enough food for them to get them full. And if you serve them an omelet, a little tiny one, they might think they need 2 of those. But if you serve it big enough, it's not as thick, but they don't know that. So when you use a 12-inch omelet pan, visually it looks like a 3 to 4 egg omelet, when really you're only using 2 eggs for the omelet. So just another thing you can do with your family, especially someone like me who likes to eat probably a little bit more than they should. Visually, you can get them to think they're getting more food than they're not. So the rice is cooled, so we have cool rice here, and we're just going to do a really basic, simple omelet. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to preheat our pan. Okay, we want to have our pan waiting on us, and that's what I've done. I've preheated my pan here. It's waiting on me. We're going to cook a little bit of turkey, kielbasa sausage, and we're going to cook some red bell peppers. I showed how to cut those up in the knife skills. We're going to do a little bit of fine diced red onion. We're going to garnish with a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top, and then we're going to just reheat our rice real quick at the end. Again, it's already cooked, it's cooled, so we don't need to cook it any longer. We just need to reheat it. And so the heat from the vegetables and the meat should reheat that to where we want it. I also have a couple eggs ready here. I like to do them in a coffee cup, okay? Because whenever I whisk it, it's not going to splatter all over. They're lower at the bottom. It's a 2-egg omelet. I also have a little bowl here that I'm going to go ahead and put my toppings in after they're cooked. And then I'll be able to add the eggs. You can use olive oil to saute if you add your ingredients right away. Okay. So I'm going to turn this up just a tad bit. Okay, we're going to add our bell pepper. And we don't really want to overcook any of this. We just kind of want to reheat. I'm going to add the onion. Okay, going to get this all reheated real quick. It's not going to take long. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes since this meat and veggies have been cooking, and I fine diced them for a reason, because we don't want them to overwhelm bites when people eat them. We just wanted the hint of the onion in there. So we have kind of charred the meat a little bit. It's been about 3.5 minutes now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the rice last minute. Okay. And get the rice added. We're going to reheat the rice really quick. Okay. So I'm going to take these and put them into my bowl. See if you can get a better view here. So you see the rice, I only reheated the rice for literally 25-30 seconds at the most. Okay. So we have our toppings ready to go in there. Okay, so I want to wipe out the pan really good. After the veggies came out, be careful when you do this. Just make sure you wipe out all the pan. And then I'm going to add some spray the pan with some pan spray, really good. Okay. I'm going to beat the egg. Okay. So we want the pan hot enough where the eggs set, but we don't want to scorch them on the bottom either. So we're always in control. We can take the pan off the heat if we need to control the heat. So once the edges start getting set, then I just simply swirl the egg around. Now you can see where the egg visually looks bigger. I mean, we could cook the same amount of egg in a 8-inch pan. It would just be thicker. It would be smaller though. It would be only about this big. We'll take our toppings, our fillings, put that in there, okay? And plating, all you do is you just pull the egg to the edge like this. And then once you get halfway out, then you flip it over, okay? But that's it. Great way, really great way to use wild rice. I love them in breakfast. Any type of breakfast, even on the side with eggs. Okay, this last dish here is probably the easiest of them all. I work with a lot of kids, and I try to teach kids about colors and about creating art with food. And this is a perfect example here. All these beautiful colors. You got strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. We have our cooled wild rice, and we have this Greek yogurt here. So we're just going to do this simple wild rice and yogurt salad with berries. Okay, so all I'm going to do is, this is Greek yogurt. I'm just going to add some fresh orange juice to it, some citrus juice, okay? And I'm just going to stir that in really good, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and start building my base. Now, it's nice if you serve this at home to kind of do it in plates like this so that people can grab what they want. And so the base, I'm going to go ahead and put some strawberries at the base here. Just like that. Right in the middle. And then you can do a couple of things with this. You could dollop it right on top. Okay, that would look nice. You could put it in a squeeze bag or a sandwich bag, and then clip the corner, and then you can make art. I eat enough of this citrus yogurt where I put it in squeeze bottles, just like this. Do a little bit of a decoration on top, just like that. And last but not least, drizzle a little bit of maple syrup right on top. So I probably did about a half a teaspoon, not too much, but really easy to do and quick. And I'll tell you, I mean, people love this stuff. People eat with their eyes, and this is a nice small breakfast. It could be next to your omelet that we did, and just another great way to use wild rice. Okay, well that does it for the recipes for wild rice, and you know, I just want to make sure that you guys realize how easy this stuff is. That's what I do with my business. I promote how to use food as art. I work with a lot of kids, and I try to teach people how to use colors and use garnishes and make food look a little bit better just by doing a few things. And hopefully what these videos do is they help you realize that, hey, my 8-year-old kid could do what he just did. And that's what I want. I want people to be inspired to be able to create healthy, really great looking food that you could put in a magazine. It's not that hard. It's just learning a few techniques on plating. And another thing is these recipes, I'll provide recipes. Today's was based on 1 serving or 1.5. It matters on who you're serving. But a lot of my recipes will say feed 4 or feed 6 or feed 8. So it's important to know that today's recipes were shrunken down so that I could get more of the techniques in. And yeah, just keep cooking at home, keep saving that money, keep meal planning. Meal planning is important, and just stay healthy out there, guys. And I sure appreciate you watching my presentation, and I'm so happy that you were able to be in my kitchen today. I sure appreciate it. Have a good day. Miigwech. That does it in the kitchen. Had a lot of fun cooking. You got to have fun cooking. I mean, if you don't have fun cooking, then you know it's tough to be motivated to cook more at home. And I hope today's recipes help you guys get some better ideas on how to use wild rice, how to store it. It's really flavorful. I mean, I like it by itself, just by itself, plain with a little bit of black pepper and salt, and you know, it's just an amazing grain. And I hope that today's lesson helped you guys get inspired on maybe using it in a few other different dishes in different ways. So again, I want to thank the Southern Plains Tribal Health Board for the opportunity to present. I'm just thankful for that, and I look forward to the next video. Thank you so much, and have a great day.